The more that we shame ourselves into not eating foods that sound good, the more we want those foods and make ourselves feel crazy over them. Do you feel like you crave carbs like all the time? Do you feel like a failure every time you put down the bag of cookies only to realize that they're all gone and you are stuffed to the brim, kind of like your favorite stuffed animal that you had as a kid? Yeah, I used to feel the same way. In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 reasons why you are craving carbs, what to eat when you have those carb cravings, and finally, how to stop carb cravings, okay? I won't lie, the 8th reason as to why you might be craving carbs is kind of a gut punch. And if I had to guess, it is likely the reason that you're having those intense carb cravings. But hey, after this video, you will know how to avoid that. So don't worry your pretty little head, and don't forget to hit that like button to give yourself a boost of confidence that you can overcome those uncontrollable carb cravings. So first of all, why are you craving carbs? Now, there are a lot of reasons that your body can send up the bat signal for carbs on carbs, and it isn't anything that you need to feel bad about. The answer to your question, why am I craving carbs, depends on why your body is sending out that signal to begin with. So let's explore some of those reasons why you might be craving carbs. Reason number 1 is that you are in need of fuel. I like to start with the simplest solution first. Your body has carb cravings because it is time for your next meal or snack. The energy tank is low, so your body is letting you know that it's time to stop, drop, and have some fuel. It is typical to need something to eat every few hours throughout the day, whether it is a more formal meal or maybe a snack. We have a limited amount of reserved carbohydrates, our body's preferred energy source, stored in our liver as something called glycogen. Now, this fuel reserve usually lasts about 3 to 6 hours, so it makes sense that we need to refill that frequently throughout the day. If it has been a few hours since you've eaten, it's probably a good idea to fuel it in order to protect your energy, your mood, and your ability to focus. The more that you deny your body the energy that it needs, the more desperately that it is going to work to get your attention and say, hey, it's time to eat. And this can manifest in extreme hunger and even binging. Reason 2 is that you have a craving. You might have a carb craving because you're seeking pleasure or comfort from a specific food. And you know what? That is 100% okay. You might be surprised to hear this from a registered dietitian, but it is actually okay to use food for comfort. This is so counterintuitive that it bears repeating, okay? It's okay to eat for comfort. Food offers us many benefits, including fuel, which I already mentioned, but it's also important to acknowledge and give ourselves permission to enjoy our food. The more that we shame ourselves into not eating foods that sound good for the sole reason of their pleasure or comfort, the more we want those foods and make ourselves feel crazy over them. This kind of restriction can lead to binge eating episodes. My only caveat is that I don't recommend comfort food being your only source of comfort. Always a good idea to have several tools in the toolbox so that you can have the best solution in the moment. Be sure to check out my video on emotional self-care after you watch this video for more on how to build a toolbox to cope with your emotions. Reason 3 is it could be a chemical drive. So neurotransmitters can play a role in carb cravings. Now, the one I want to chat about with you is one you might not have heard before, called neuropeptide Y, and it can be abbreviated NPY. Neuropeptide Y is an abundant neurotransmitter with several important functions in our body, including increasing our drive to eat carbs. When you're underfueled, as when you're chronically dieting and restricting overall food, or you're restricting carbs, hello low carb lifestyle, NPY increases your drive to eat carbohydrates. Fasting or restricting also rev that up and boosts those carb cravings. Reason 4, it could be hormonal signaling. One hormonal connection between you and your carb cravings, your period. Changes in different hormones related to your menstrual cycle can also actually increase food cravings at large, but also for carbs specifically. It's not bad. Do not beat yourself up if you have carb cravings, especially around that time of the month. Totally normal. Reason 5, you've just exercised. did you know that your body actually stores energy from carbs in your muscles and your liver so that you have that quick acting fuel at all times? These stored carbohydrates are called glycogen, like we mentioned. When you exercise, it is possible that you've depleted all of your energy stores and your body wants to refill those energy batteries, essentially. It is completely normal to feel hungry after a workout and is a great opportunity to refuel. It's also possible to have exercise stunt your hunger cues though. Everyone is totally different. Regardless of your cues, providing your body with fuel that it needs, maybe using a little practical hunger there, helps to have a more productive and enjoyable workout the next time, and it may also reduce the risk of burnout. Win-win. A combo of protein and carbs helps to replenish those carb stores and keeps you feeling full and satisfied longer, allowing your muscles to recover. Reason 6, you need rest. A bad night's sleep can set you up for carb cravings on top of being a cranky pants. It isn't in your head. The simple, craveable foods sound better after an all-night studying or all night spent tossing and turning. When you aren't well rested, you have a spike in hormones that makes those foods sound irresistible. When you have a crappy night's sleep, you wake up with less leptin, which is the fullness hormone, and more ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. Now, this is a combo for an increased appetite. Not only is having a good sleep routine the foundation for emotional self-care, but it also helps calm carb cravings. How much sleep is enough? About 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep is what the experts recommend each night. And unfortunately, those hours do not roll over, so you can't really sleep 12 hours one night, 2 hours the next night, and call it good. Reason 7, you have a deficiency. Now, I wouldn't jump to this conclusion that just because you're craving carbs, you have a deficiency, but for the sake of completeness here, it's worth mentioning. Again, simplest answer first, carbs are nutrients, they're not the enemy, and you might be craving carbs simply because you need them. Okay, your body wants to refill the energy tank when it is low. In addition, it is possible that certain vitamin and mineral deficiencies can cause carb cravings, such as magnesium and sodium. But they aren't that common, nor are they well established by good quality research. It is more common to have cravings because you're underfueling, because you have food rules, you're stressed, or lack of sleep, or some combo of that. It's also worth mentioning that women are far more likely to experience cravings, and who is more likely to be susceptible to dieting and having food rules? Women as well. The more that we villainize something, the more that we want it in the end. And yes, men can absolutely struggle with this as well. Reason 8, you are causing your own carb cravings. This is the big one, guys. This is where it gets personal. You're deeming carbs as bad or that you shouldn't have them. You're actually setting yourself up to want them more. You're actually increasing your brain's motivation and reward response for the carbs. When you give yourself permission to eat all food, like when you become an intuitive eater, which is what I teach and preach here on this channel, you are actually less likely to be driven to eat the carbs in a compulsive way, and you learn to eat them without binge eating or restricting. They just become normal, and it's a pretty great feeling, which, yes, you can achieve too. And if you're wondering if food is addictive, the answer is no. I have a whole video covering that, so be sure to check that out. It is a big topic if you are still not convinced. Now, we've gone over some of the common reasons that you might be craving carbs, so now, what do you do about it? First, I want you to comment below with which of the 8 reasons you think is causing your carb cravings, okay? Being aware of your cravings, the cause of it, is the first step to overcoming it. Now, what do we eat when we crave carbs? The simplest answer is carbs. The less that you make foods fit into categories like allowed or not allowed, the less that you'll have those cravings that leave you feeling out of control and so guilty. But just to know, you'll always need fuel, okay? You'll always need carbs, despite what Keto Parent says. And sometimes certain foods will sound better than others, and this is completely normal. If you keep not feeling your best and you're craving specific foods, some emotional self-care and some gentle nutrition, maybe adding some whole grains to keep you more full and satisfied longer, that may allow you to get some traction for your daily eating and your living routine that allows you to feel good throughout each day. Now, how do you stop carb cravings? Before I answer that, let me answer your question with a question. Why do you want to stop carb cravings? Like I've said, carbs are essential. They're an essential part of living. They provide nutrition and energy for our bodies on a daily basis to function properly. They also provide comfort, enjoyment, and pleasure. So again, why do we want to stop these carb cravings? A better question would be, how can I develop a healthy relationship with carbs so that I don't have this intense drive to eat them all, right? If you are not comfortable giving yourself permission to eat carbs, you probably have some food rules around them. I'm gonna link a quiz in the description of this video that you can take to identify what food rule is ruling your life. And if you are saying right now, but Colleen, I don't have food rules, I allow myself to eat everything, I'm calling your bluff. For many of you watching this video, I will make an educated guess that the most common reason that you are craving carbs is that you've been living a life with food rules and restrictions, whether you know it or not. It's a self-imposed carb craving. Those cravings that feel uncontrollable are a result of following diet culture. And I say that totally without judgment because I was there too. I didn't want to touch carbs or food that I thought was quote unquote unhealthy with a 10-foot pole, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Intuitive eating helps to manage carb cravings because you learn to build trust with your body and with eating, and you don't have food rules anymore, no restrictions. Doesn't it sound nice to not obsess over each meal or snack and each bite? It is. Be sure to check out my video on how to start intuitive eating. Spoiler alert, it is not what you see most people recommend and what you see all over social media. Watch that so you can say see you later to those uncontrollable carb cravings for good. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like and comment and share it with a friend. I will see you guys next week with another video all about intuitive eating.